Hey there, and welcome back to the Pip and Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker, and I'm a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin, and other places, like our website, pipandpin.ca. So it's been a little while since my last podcast. I think the beginning of summer, maybe. I always have really good intentions about podcasting during the summer, and it just never works out. It's always so busy, and I have a daughter who's 8 now. She's in grade 3. And she was home, of course, so it's always just summertime. That's just what happens. But I really hope to be getting back on a bit more of a schedule with the podcast because I feel like a lot of people kind of went through this, but for the past couple years, I feel like my creativity and like drive to do things has just like flattened. But recently I've been very inspired and started lots of new projects and are working on just lots and lots of things that I'm really excited to share with you. So yeah, hopefully this is the fresh start. September always feels like the beginning of the year to me. I know January is the actual beginning of the year, but September always feels like the start of things. School was, back to school was always really fun for me. And so, yeah, I just always equate back to school time with like a new fresh start. So here's our new fresh start of podcasting and keeping that creativity going. So welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and welcome if you are new. I'm really glad that you're all here. So the first kind of things that I want to talk about before I get into too much knitting is a couple of the things that are happening in Pip and Pin land right now. Because I did do some things over the summer that I'd like to share with you. And so the first thing is I did release a new pattern just a couple weeks ago, and it's called the Ironwood Socks. These are them all rolled up. I will, of course, take them out and show you in a minute here. But this pattern is kind of based off of the Ironwood hat that I designed a few years ago. I just kind of used that same motif and made it for this sock. This is using, what's the yarn here? Autumn and Indigo Sport, and this is just a one-of-a-kind colorway, so it doesn't have a name. And I think I was looking at my previous podcast notes just to see kind of where I left off last time, and I started these, or I was working on them, of August of last year, so they've been in the works for a whole year now. And I'll just pop one on a blocker here to show you. This is what they look like. So these are a sport weight, so they're just a little bit thicker than fingering. And if you've never knit a sport weight sock before, you should try it because they're kind of amazing. First of all, they go really fast. So they knit up super quick. And they're just that little bit thicker than fingering weight. So they're just that slightly bit cozier without being like thick DK socks. So I can still wear these like in my boots in the summertime, or not in the summertime, in the wintertime, and still be very comfortable. I find sometimes with DK socks, they're just a little bit too thick sometimes. Sorry if you can hear that. There's somebody, I don't know what he's doing. Blowing some leaves around. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, so this is now available on Ravelry and our website. So you can get the digital patterns there. Also, if you are a yarn store and are interested in like printed copies, we do sell our patterns wholesale through Deep South Fibers. So I'll put a link down to that source as well if you're interested in wholesaling printed patterns. Oh, also, I know I released these a while ago, but I haven't podcasted in a long time. So I did make a new code just for you guys. So these will be 20% off on our website and on Ravelry until September 30th with the code IW Socks. And I'll make sure to put all that stuff down below as well. So yeah, here is kind of the side view. It's worked from the top down, and it has this beautiful like twisted stitch cable kind of pattern down the front. I've done a fish lips kiss heel, but I've also included the instructions for a short row heel. So either will kind of give this same look, and then down just to a wedge toe there. And here's a kind of better look at the cable panel there. And it's really not, if you've never done like twisted cables before, they are not super difficult at all. Especially these guys, they're just 1/1 twisted ones, and then alternating knits and pearls to create this lovely arrow pattern there. So yeah, I hope you like those. Make sure you get the discount down below until the end of September. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the idea to pattern workshop. Now, the idea to pattern workshop is something that started last January. There was like the very first kind of session of it was last January, and then I just did one in the spring as well. And basically, it is a 8-week workshop. It's all hosted online with videos and PDFs, and there's like a live event kind of at the end, and it's all about becoming a pattern designer. So if that is something that you've been interested in and don't really know where to start, or if you have some patterns that you've released but want some direction on kind of how to do it more efficiently, or just different things that you might not know, this is the workshop for you. Now, I just want to say that enrollment is open right now. I'll try and get this video uploaded as soon as possible here. So the enrollment is open right now, but it does close on Friday the 23rd. So there's a very short window to enroll, and then on September 26th is when the classes start. So for the classes, each kind of week we focus on a different aspect of knitwear design. So I think the first week is all about sketching and like kind of formulating your ideas and getting your inspiration. Then we go on to swatching and how to accurately do that for your design. Third week we talk about measurements and how to decide what measurements your garment or accessory is going to be. And then the fourth week is math, and that one is kind of all about translating those measurements into stitch counts. And we also talk about grading. And then the 6th week, I'm all doing this at the top of my head, so hopefully I get them all right. The 6th week, I think we talk about math, and then publishing, I know, is 1 week, and that I talk about how to self-publish your pattern and where you can do that. I also talk about working with third-party publishers and things like that. The 7th week, I think I talk about working with other people. So how to go about finding yarn support for your designs, how to do test knits and things like that. And then the 7th week is all about kind of laying up your pattern and just everything that you need to include with your completed pattern. And one of the things that I found the most useful in that week is what's it called? A style sheet. And a style sheet is something that like really changed the way I designed. It's basically like a layout of everything, how you write things, how you do things, so that all of your patterns can be consistent and you don't have to like guess on anything. So there's a big section on kind of that as well. And then the last week, the 8th week, is a live Q&A. So I think one time I did it on Zoom and one time I did it on YouTube. I think I'll go back to Zoom again. I found that was a little more interactive. The 8th week will be a live Zoom meeting, so you can ask any questions that you might have about a specific thing you're working on, or if you just want clarification on things, there's going to be that week there. Along with all the videos and all the PDFs and all the things that we work through together, you also have access to the Pip and Pin community. And so that's like a kind of private message board with me and all the other students that have enrolled in this course. So you can ask questions and talk to each other and share your designs and, come to me with problems. During the, I'm on there all the time, so I'm constantly communicating in that group. And then lots of people have asked too, like, if you have to complete it within the 8 weeks, and you absolutely don't. Basically, the videos are pre-recorded. They're released week by week. So, week 1, here's your video, here's a couple of different resources. Week 2, here's your video, here's the different resources. But you don't have to, they don't ever disappear or anything. So when you sign up, you have access to that forever. So you can come back and do it again, or, if something happens and you need more time, well, you can watch it later and come back to it. That's totally fine too. So you have that forever, as well as anything that gets added to the course later. So if I decide to add a new section, you'll get an update and you'll get that section too. So yeah, if that is something, sorry, that was kind of long-winded. I didn't mean to talk about it that much, but I just wanted to let you know kind of the basics of what it is and kind of who it's for. And yeah, if that's something that interests you, I definitely put the link down below to more information about that course. And just remember that enrollment is going to close on September 23rd. So in a couple days here. So I'd check that out if it's something that you think might be fun. On to knitting. I do have lots of knitting to share, which is very exciting because for the past, I don't know, however many podcasts, I haven't had anything to show. So I'm going to start with finished objects because I have a couple of those. This you would have seen before, and I'm pretty sure I was wearing it the last time I podcasted, but I wanted to show it again because it's very close to being a pattern that you will be able to knit yourself one day if you want. But this is the Sprocket Sweater. This is a motif taken from our very popular pattern, the Sprocket Socks, and then I had the Sprocket Hat, and now there is a Sprocket Sweater. And the yarns here are Leo and Roxy Basics, and this is the classic gray. And then for the 5 different kind of minis, I think I was able to use minis for all 5 of these for my size, and I'm pretty sure I just grabbed them from my stash, so I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember off the top of my head what these are. It's in the pattern, but can't remember exactly what they are. Now, one of my favorite things about this is because this yarn is the main color, the Leo and Roxy Basics. It's a commercially dyed yarn, and it is a little bit thinner. Like if you think of a fingering weight kind of sock yarn, what comes to my mind anyways is something that's a little bit plumper than this. This is just a little bit thinner, which is kind of nice. But what I found was when I was doing my collars and hems and things, my ribbing just was not looking great. So I decided to put in the effort and do a folded cuff on all of the everything. So this is on the sleeve, I did it on the bottom hem, and then I did it on the collar as well. And it makes such a big difference. It just made it look so polished. So that is included in the pattern on how to do this folded hem. You can modify it if you want to do 1x1 rib or 2x2 rib or whatever you want to do. But yeah, I'm working on this pattern right now. It's all tested. It's all tech edited. It's pretty well done. The only thing is, when I went from my swatch to my finished thing, my tension changed quite a bit, unfortunately. So my swatch, and this is not usually how this happens, my swatch was actually at a tighter gauge or at a looser gauge than my finished thing. Like usually when I'm knitting something, I'll kind of loosen up because I'm getting into the groove of it or whatever. But no, my swatch was actually looser than my finished thing. So what that meant was my sweater, which I wanted lots of positive ease in, became more fitted, which is fine. Like it's definitely like, I still love the fit of it, but my intention was to have it a little more oversized. What that meant was like when I design, I do all my grading and stuff first. So my sizes were coming up short, and I just need to add some larger sizes because the way the math worked out, those sizes kind of got shifted down, and yeah, so I just have to add some of those sizes, get my tech editor to look over those again, maybe see if I can find another tester or two to test knit those larger sizes, or at least the yoke of them. And then, yeah, the pattern will be released. I've done photos and everything. I like the photos a lot, but I might go out and I'm doing photos for another one, so I might take this one along too to just see which ones I like better. Yeah, so hopefully in October, this one will be released. I love it a lot. Very excited about that one. And the other sweater that I am going to be photographing soon is this guy. And I think I showed this. I was halfway through knitting it last time, and I actually just finished it last night. I bound off the cuffs way too tight, and that is my biggest pet peeve is cuffs that are too tight because I push them up all the time. So I did have to go back and take them out and redo them. Did that last night. So I have a fully finished object to show you. It doesn't have a name yet, but this is a new design that I just finished last night. If you have any ideas for names, I'm all ears. It's a big, comfy sweatshirt. This is a textured brioche. So it's very similar to honeycomb brioche, but there's kind of one less step, so it's a little bit easier to work. And basically what I've done here is I've used two yarns, two strands of fingering held together. So the main color here is this orange. It's from Fidley Dyeworks in the Gwen colorway. And for the cuffs and the collar and the hem, I used two strands of that. And then for the body and everything else, you can see it's all multicolored. I just found all of my yellow and red and brown and dirty fall leaf colors. Found all those little tiny scraps and just kept switching colors constantly. I'm really happy with how this fabric turned out. I think it's really interesting. It was really fun. It was a really great way to use up scraps. I know Georgia really likes this one too, so I might even make like a kid's version. This pattern is not near done yet, but maybe in December or January, hopefully. I'm going to try and wait until there's leaves because it's very fall. And I know it always happens to me. Like it's a super fall sweater, but I might release it in January. Who knows? Maybe I'll wait until next year. Or maybe that's just how it'll happen, because sometimes that's just what happens. But yeah, very excited about this one as well. And I would put it on, but it's like 24 degrees outside, so it's not sweater weather here yet. Unfortunately. Taking Georgia to the beach after school today, so she's very excited. I am not. Well, I like the beach. I just want it to be colder. That's all. Anyways, the last kind of finished object here is something I think I was working on last time too. This is the Ocean Drive sock. This is one of my patterns, and it has this cute little scalloped color work. This is all done with slip stitches. And it's worked from the top down, and just with a set of 5 minis. So there is the pair there. I really like these colors. Not really what I usually kind of work with, but that's the great thing about socks, is you can kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Now, with these ones, I got to knit 3 socks because I was knitting. I knit the first one, and halfway through knitting it, I tried it on, and it was slightly too tight. And I thought, oh, it's okay. It'll block out. It'll be fine. Finished that one. Then realized, no, it's not going to block out, because I always say that because I always make socks that are too tight and then I never wear them. So the second sock I started, I think, with a larger needle and, or made the next size up. I can't remember exactly what I did. So I knit a whole second sock in the right size, and then I took apart my first sock and knit another one. So this was knit 1.5 times more than I needed to, but totally worth it to have good fitting socks, because I've realized that, yeah, that's something I do all the time, is I knit socks that are too tight and then I don't wear them. And what is the point in that? I just want nice, comfy socks to wear, not to make. I am a product knitter. I want to make, or I want to use and enjoy the things that I make, or else it seems kind of pointless to me. So yes, I am excited to wear those hopefully in a couple weeks. We'll see. Speaking of socks, I'll jump right into my whips here. And this is living in my ancient bag. I made this bag a few years ago. I think I sold them for a little while too. It's just like faux, like just vinyl. But you can see I have used it so much that all the vinyl is cracked off the top now. So it's just like fabric. And this is now brown instead of black because it's all sun faded. But I just, do you ever have those things? I just can't give it up. It's just the perfect size. I don't know. I just can't get rid of it yet. I might have to make another one or something. Anyways, living in here is another pair of socks. And, I'm actually half done. Almost done. This one. Here, I'm just going to pop this on the blocker so you can see it better. So, this is what I started at the beginning of summer, I think, when I had the 6 weeks of socks knit along, when I started that. This was my thing. Of course, I did not get them done in 6 weeks, but I tried. And I'll tell you why I didn't get them done in 6 weeks. Just in a minute here. But so this is what I've been working on. I have one complete one and one almost done one. I just have to do a little bit more on the foot and then the toe, and then these ones are done. It's just a vanilla sock. I cast on 64 stitches. I think I'm using a US 1 needle. I don't know what that is in 2.25 millimeters. I'm Canadian. I should be using the millimeters, but I've always gone by US sizes for whatever reason. Anyways, yeah, so 64 stitches on a US 1. I've just done a plain 2x2 rib at the top, plain vanilla, and a slip stitch heel flap and gusset, because I find heel flap and gussets just fit me the best. The gray is Knit Picks Stroll in gray. I don't know the colorway name. And this yarn I've had in my stash forever, and I cannot remember what it is. I know somebody sent it to me, and it's beautiful, and I thought it was in my stash. I was looking for it last night to see if it was on my stash on Ravelry, and it's not. But I know that I've had it for a few years, and I've always wanted to make a pair of socks with it, and I finally did it. And I like how they're turning out. Now, why wasn't I able to finish these socks in 6 weeks? Well, in typical Megan fashion, I cast on a pair of socks that was too small. So I finished a whole sock on, I can't remember if I either did 60 stitches or used a US 0 for it. But it was just, it got on my foot, like it gets on my foot, but it's just that little bit too tight. And I know that if it's just that bit too tight and it's too hard to put on, I'm not going to put them on in the morning. So once again, it's probably going to take me a couple more times to learn this lesson. I cast on another bigger one, and this is also a 3 sock pair of socks. That's all right. At least I will wear them. And then the other thing that I've been working on, I just actually started a little while ago, and it's actually a test knit for Jane Richmond, who is another BC designer here. And she has a cardigan coming out called the Fernwood cardigan, and it is amazing. It's made with Lion Brand Woolies, the Thick and Quick. So it's just like flown off. Like I did start this 2 weeks ago, and I'm already halfway done my first sleeve. The collar's done. It's this beautiful chunky cardigan. So it's going to have, here, let me take these off for you so they're not banging around. Alrighty. So it is a beautiful chunky cardigan here. It's going to have some big buttons in the front. It has this all over moss stitch texture, which is, I wasn't really thinking when I signed up for it. And then when I was like looking at the pattern, it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to do moss stitch for an entire cardigan. But no, it's been fine. It's been great. Because it's so big. Like I'm using US 15 needles. They're ginormous. Think how big that is. I forgot because I haven't made anything this chunky in so long. Like Katie and I used to use Woolies, Thick and Quick for like everything when we were knitting for markets and stuff. And I just haven't used it for so long. I forgot how amazing it is. So I'm using the charcoal colorway. This is their dark gray. I'll actually put it on because it's going to be really amazing. It's not blocked, so of course, so it will ease out a bit. Oh yeah, it's going to be so lovely. This is where the button is, and there's this beautiful little detail where kind of this is where your V kind of stops, and there's this lovely little increase in the band. It's just such a lovely little detail. Yeah, and I'm just about done. So I have half a sleeve to go, and then one more sleeve, so probably just a couple of evenings left, and then I'll have a new sweater for when the weather finally cools down. I was not intending really to do this at all. I signed up for it as a whim, and it has been really awesome to knit someone else's pattern because I feel like I haven't really done anyone else's in such a long time because I've been working on my own designs. But sometimes it's nice not to have to think too much. I mean, this is a test knit, so I am reading the instructions very carefully and, making notes of things and double checking everything. But it is just very nice just to knit something that someone else has thought about. It's very lovely. I'm so happy with this. I'll make sure to let you know when the pattern comes out because, definitely put it on your list. It's turning out great. I'll have it finished by the next podcast for sure. And then I have like lots of plans as well. The first thing, probably what I'm going to cast on first, I just have to do some measurements, is a sweater for my husband. And I'll just grab the yarn here. It's just a little bit out of reach. But I don't know, I think I talked about this when, because my last episode was in July. So we went to Alberta in June, and my family came, but we went there for me. I went to Hippie Strings out in Grand Prairie and found some of this. And I only bought one skein of it. And this is for a sweater for Justin, my husband. It's Ketch's Scotch Tweed. As I found out, it is now discontinued. So if you want some, you can't get it. Sorry. I know there's an Etsy. There's someone who's selling some on Etsy. And Hippie Strings has some, of course. But that's really all I could find at all. So what I did was I bought one skein of it while we were there because I couldn't buy a whole sweater's worth because we were traveling, and also I wanted to make sure that I liked the swatch first. So I did swatch it. This is what the fabric looks like. It's exactly what Justin wants. He wants it to be like a rustic-y kind of Henley with some kind of white stitching or detailing. So I made an order for Hippie Strings once I did the swatch and kind of found out that this was going to work for what he had in mind. I did order a bunch more from Hippie Strings, so that all came in the mail. I also got a couple of colors extra. He wanted like white kind of at the cuffs and kind of at the seams almost, but they didn't have any white. And I couldn't find any other ones anywhere else either because it's discontinued. So I kind of got these two colors and to see if he liked any of those. And he didn't really. Like, he likes the colors. And I think I might do like a hat or something, or maybe something for Georgia with all three of them because they do look very nice together. But he really did want something white. So I got some Lion Brand Woolies this is their worsted weight one. Does it have a color? I don't know. They're kind of creamy. Linen, it's called. So yeah, it's going to be mostly this red sweater with the like seams kind of in white. His inspiration was like old long john underwear kind of. So it's going to have buttons and be a Henley. So I just have to take his measurements and I'm just going to make it up as I go because that's kind of just what I do for his sweaters. I know the style of sweater that he likes. I know how he likes them to fit. So it's just easiest for me to do a little bit of math and then just kind of knit it to him and try it on as we go. And that's kind of just how his sweaters work. I think I'll do it bottom up, and because I find bottom up sweaters, it's easier to alter the top bits. So we'll see how that goes. I just have to take his measurements. And he said, oh, no, just do it the same as the last sweater. And I said, no. Measure yourself always because bodies change very quickly. So whenever you cast on a sweater, just do some quick measurements because you might be surprised at I know depending on what bra I'm wearing, like my bust size changes, and like whether I'm bloated or not bloated, like my stomach changes. And so it's just best practice. Always measure yourself before you start a new project. So I told him, no, I'm not starting until we actually get measurements. Also, when we were in Alberta at Hippie Strings, I got this. All right, and this is Farmer's Daughter fibers. The Juicy DK in this beautiful like white with kind of browny gray speckles. When I was there, I bought 3 skeins. What am I going to do with 3 skeins of DK? So while I was doing the order for Justin's sweater, I ordered another 3 skeins of this so I can make a sweater out of this. And I'm thinking something with cables, maybe a little bit cropped, and a little bit boxy. Haven't really decided yet. I also have this colorway, which is Eagle Eye, where I might put in some sort of detail, but I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't really decided on what exactly this is going to be yet, but I have a vague idea. Boxy, crop, cables, because white cables just always look so nice, and this will just have that little bit extra with that light speckling of the kind of darker bits there. So I think that'll be really, really lovely. I don't know what to do with this yet. I might not do anything with it, but it's there if I need it. Note to self, don't buy 3 skeins of DK yarn. I know I did that with the, I bought some fiber for the people. And again, I bought 3 skeins of DK. Like, I can make a shawl out of that, but which I think was my intention with that yarn. I didn't have any intention with this yarn, so 3 skeins was kind of silly. But I think with the other yarn that I got 3 of, I was thinking of a shawl. I don't know. That's just in my stash for now. I don't really have any immediate plans for that. Oh, and then the last kind of plan that I had was I wanted a couple of skeins of DK just for some accessories. I wanted some new kind of winter things. So I got these 2 from Fidley Dyeworks because I needed to buy another skein of that orange for this sweater to finish it off. So I figured I would get some fun ones for myself. So I got, this is for Superwash Merino DK, and this is Skylar. It's this kind of gray-blue base with all these really beautiful jewel tone speckles. There's like blue and orange and pink and some purple in there. I just thought that was really fun. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, but I liked it. And then to kind of go with that, I got this hot mustardy color called Sawyer. I've got this yarn from her before, and I really love it. And this, I think, is going to be a hot. Sorry if I have a new setup, so I keep looking at myself, even though I know the camera's there. So sorry. We'll get the hang of this again. But yeah, so this is Sawyer from Fidley Dyeworks. Beautiful, like glowing hot mustard color. Some sort of hat. That's going to become. And then, because she's so sweet, she did send 2 other skeins of DK as well. This is like a nice dark purple. It's Mia. And that, again, goes, I think it's the same purple that's in there. And this is kind of the same mustard that's in there as well. So yeah, this is Mia. And then this is Alistair. And that's just a beautiful, like, creamy white. I don't know what I'm going to do really with these 3 yet, but this one is going to be a hat. Actually, you know what? I do know what I'm going to do with this one. I would like to give this one away because I've been gone for so long. I haven't done a giveaway in 100 years. So yeah, I would like to give this away, maybe with a couple pattern downloads and some other goodies, just for my YouTube people. So to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is just in the comments down below, tell me what are you most looking forward to this season. Fall is coming up here where I am, and it's my favorite. I love it when the weather cools down, like when the leaves change. Last night we had, it's still quite warm here, but last night we had the kind of cold winds coming in, and you could just feel the change in the air, and all the trees were blowing around, and it was just wonderful. So I hope we get some like good fall storms. We usually get like a couple good windstorms, and pumpkins and apple picking and all the fun fall things. I'm totally that person. So that's what I'm looking forward to most this season is that. And so yeah, all you have to do is tell me what you're looking forward to, and you can win this beautiful skein of Fidley Dyeworks Superwash Merino worsted. Oh, this is worsted. That one's worsted too. I didn't even know that. Oh, shows how observant I am. This one's worsted too. And yeah, I'll throw in some other goodies and whatever else, whatever other things I can find. And I think that's it for today. This has been the longest episode in a really long time. I hope you enjoyed it. I am really excited again to have some things to share, and I'm glad that the creative juices are kind of flowing again. And I hope yours are too. Yeah, if you don't forget about our Ironwood sock pattern until the 30th. You can use that code down below to get 20% off on our website and Ravelry. And if you've ever thought about being a pattern designer or just want to learn more about it, you can go to the Idea to Pattern Workshop link down below there and learn more about that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in 2 weeks. I promise. Bye.